Hey, y'all! We honestly do plan on doing this, you know?
Yeah.
We get up here, we sit in our proper seats, and then we start talking about something else. So,
Yeah.
Sorry. Hi, everybody.
Hey,
We're back.
y'all. Welcome back. This is Knitting in Our Jeans.
Yes.
This is episode 86.
Yes.
Welcome back if you are returning. Welcome if you are new.
Yes.
For those of you who don't recall, I'm Lizz, and on Ravelry and Instagram, I'm Toolizzforyou, Toolizzforyou.
And I'm Carolyn, and I'm cpredmor on Ravelry, and only occasionally on Instagram. Most of the time you see being posted on Knitting in Our Jeans on Instagram, it's me. And I have been doing pretty well in doing a -C to indicate that it is me. And if you look at our Instagram feed, you'd be seeing that I've been away sailing for about 2 weeks. And I was posting pictures of both knitting and sailing while we were gone. But I am back now. I have a faculty meeting on Wednesday, and I'm going to be knee-deep in back to work. Found out we had a research proposal that was accepted for a conference in September, so we submitted an abstract, so now the whole thing has to get written, so that needs to be written up, and we have another one for October that needs to be written up, and we got an article back that needs to be rewritten, so I got a lot of writing to do, but it's always good to be back. Good to see you all. What I am wearing is my Iridaceae, the one I couldn't remember having finished the last time.
That was ridiculous.
It was ridiculous.
I don't know if that was on camera or not, but it was hilarious. And my update...
No, I didn't finish it. Yes, you did. No, I didn't. And she looked it up on my Ravelry feed, and yes, I had finished it. I will tell you that if I was making it now, I wouldn't have made it more fitted.
You would have made a size down,
probably. I would have made at least one size down, but... You know,
I think you started this before we started properly sizing ourselves.
Probably true. True.
Update on my coworkers. They are mostly better. The one who had pneumonia was back, or it has been back. I understand that it is very difficult. I read some of your comments earlier, and I understand that it is very difficult when you have pneumonia. However, he does not live alone. He could have had one of his daughters use his phone to text us. I was mostly concerned that he was in the hospital and that he was doing worse than I was hoping. That's all. I realize now that I came off very...
Nasty?
Not nasty, just overly pessimistic.
Or judgmental.
Judgmental. Due to the fact that I was quite stressed.
You? No.
No. Me at work? No. But I have... almost my full team back. We have one team member who's out with a herniated disc. He finally got the MRI. So it's going to be a few more weeks without him, which is difficult. But we're getting through it. And it's really funny. My executive on the team was saying that you know, we're just trying to make through and get through what we can. And you know what? The building will get built, and it will still be structurally sound. The fact is that sometimes shit hits the fan, and everyone gets sprayed.
Yes.
Unfortunately, one of my very good friends passed away. One of my best friend's dads. So I was out of the office for essentially 4 days. Dealing with that and handling that with friends and such. So my team was left in the lurch when I left, which was, you know, my team member came back from having pneumonia, and I left then because I had to, you know, be a supportive friend, which was great because my team was... you know, approved me to leave. They didn't give me any grief for it. Because I had prepped all of them for this, because this was not a shock.
No.
It was a surprise. But in
the person we're talking about had brain cancer. I think glioblastoma, which rarely has a good outcome. It's a matter of when. Instead of if. And it was, I think, very sad.
Yeah.
Lovely man, lovely family. And luckily, her coworkers did understand, because there was no question she was going to the funeral, which was in Ohio.
So I went,
yes.
and my team members were wonderful and said, "Of course you're going, and give your friend and her family our wishes, And I was like, "Thank you, I really appreciate that, And as my exec said last week when I came back, he was like, "You were going whether we approved it or not.
Yeah,
like
really.
You were gone." And I was
it's the same with people who are ill. They're just out, whether you approve it or not. They're out.
Well, and exactly. So. And he was like, I brought my computer with me, and I did do some work, and I worked off of my cell phone when there were things that I had to do myself. And he was like, "You did what you could, and we appreciate all the work you did do while you were out." So as grumpy as I was last episode about my team, I really appreciate them.
For her.
And they're a good bunch of dads, essentially.
And I'm sorry, because I misunderstood, because my father-in-law has pneumonia and developed it while we were away.
And has had it multiple times this year. So.
Yes. And so I thought I couldn't quite understand the comment about who was having pneumonia. And Dad
if he lived alone.
Yeah, Dad doesn't live alone. He's in assisted living.
And my coworker lives with his family.
Right.
So.
And I have had pneumonia several times.
Yes.
And I am always very, very sick when I have it. So yes, I do understand how one can be very sick.
Which is why I was only concerned whether he was laid up on the couch like Mom does.
Yes.
Or if he was in the hospital like my friend was.
Anyway,
but we just wanted to clarify that.
Yes.
But other than that, I'm doing really quite well this week, I believe.
That's good. So we're back. We had a lovely time sailing. We got up to Provincetown, Massachusetts, and I was taking pictures all the way up. We left a day late because my father was being moved into the new assisted living, being liberated from rehab after his last bout with pneumonia. And so we got him into the new assisted living place because he could no longer deal with his medications, and left one day late, left in a driving rain. I was soaked. I mean, I was just soaked. And I had my foul weather. I had my fallies, as they say, they're fallies on, and I had my full foul weather gear on. But when everything is just dripping on your head. But anyway, we made it to Connecticut, Duck Island Roads, about a mile, maybe a mile less than what we had planned. But it was dead calm when we got there, so we anchored out, and that was fine. The second day, we got to Cuttyhunk and got a mooring, which at 5 o'clock in the afternoon is not always guaranteed. In fact, rarely is it guaranteed, but there were people who were doing late leavings to time themselves with the tide, and we were lucky because after we got ours, there may be 2 other boats left, and 2 boats came in, and then it was full. And then from there, we went up to the Cape Cod Canal and got to the north end of the canal and stayed at a dock. I am still not good at docking, particularly in very windy weather, because Richard is not as skilled getting close to the dock in very windy weather as he probably will be in the future. And
he also does not realize that you are lengthwise of total, arm and leg length, smaller than him.
Much smaller. Anyway, so, and my throwing, we have practiced, and I'm much better now, but, and the guy on the dock couldn't catch. So between my throwing and his catching and not being quite close enough to the dock, it was quite an energetic hour that we spent trying to get tied to the dock.
Aww.
Heavy wind blowing us off the dock, so once we got close, the throw had to be perfect in order to get the rope to whoever. Anyway, we finally did get docked. We were very safe all night, had dinner across the street. That was lovely. And it's the north end of the canal, Sandwich, Massachusetts. Very nice. There is a yarn shop there. I didn't get to it. I was limping by that time. And I was tired, believe me, after throwing that rope for an hour. The next day, we were able to sail across Cape Cod Bay to Provincetown. And I did get to the knitting store in Provincetown, so we will talk about that, I guess, later in acquisitions. We had such a good time at Provincetown.
Yeah, because I have some sad acquisitions.
So, the marina in Provincetown is spotless. Spotless. You can almost eat off the floor in the bathroom. I mean, it is spotless. There are 2 outdoor televisions that are kind of in boxes, so the lid comes up, and we could watch, the baseball game, the football game. They had...
At the dock?
Yes. They had fire pits, 2 fire pits.
Oh, fun.
Lovely tables set up so that you could actually cook out up there. You're not supposed to cook out on the boat in the marina there because of the really powerful winds. You'd be blowing sparks on somebody else's boat. But there are barbecues up there along with the fire pits so that you could cook out up there. It was lovely. Absolutely lovely. I mean, just spotless.
How do I plan to get up to Provincetown next time y'all are
I'm telling you,
there?
it was, and the food, we went from good to better to best. I mean, each restaurant each night was even better. Wild Animal Watch, we saw a seal in the harbor.
You saw a seal?
We saw a seal in the harbor, and he wasn't performing, but he was coming up, looking at everybody, and then going back down and coming up. And at that point, I said, well, I'm not going swimming. And
well,
not because of the seal, but because sharks follow the seals in. And in fact, they had been closing beaches on the ocean side of Cape Cod all week because there were seals and the sharks were coming in and eating the seals. So I met several people who had told their children, and anybody else who would listen, if you see a seal, don't go in the water because the sharks will be very close by. And one of the theories that people have about sharks eating people is that they think we're seals. So, as cute as the seal... It's
essentially a prevailing theory about shark attacks.
Right. So, as cute as the seal was, and I'm not really worried about what the seal's going to do to me, there are no lifeguards in the marina. So, there's no way to get an alert when the sharks may be entering the bay. So, we didn't go swimming. But the food was just terrific. And
also, I'm just picturing Mom in the water and a seal coming up right next to her and being like,
I'm shrieking.
Hi.
Yeah, shrieking.
You are shrieking.
So
and then being like, Richard,
all right,
picture.
Stop. So then there was a sorbetto shop.
Oh,
that the cones were double cones, so they don't break, and they were dipped in chocolate. So I had raspberry sorbetto and a chocolate cone, and it was just the best. And not sick afterwards. It's so much fun when you can get something and you can enjoy it, and you don't have a reaction afterwards. So I was in heaven over that. So from Provincetown, we went to, where were we? Oh, New Bedford. New Bedford is a very big fishing town, and they built in the 60s a hurricane barrier. So there is this earthen wall that's covered with stone, for, maybe a mile. And then at the harbor, there is this gate that comes up, metal gate that comes up to protect the harbor from any hurricane or high water that would take out the fishing fleets. So we got in, and what the work boats do is they let you know when they're coming out or going in through the hurricane barrier because there's not a lot of room there. One boat fits through. That's about it. Several pleasure craft can fit through, but one major fishing boat, that's about it. And these are the boats that go to the Grand Banks. I mean, these are 100, 200 feet long, and they're mammoth working boats. Anyway, we were in New Bedford for 2 nights. The first night we might have gone ashore, but we had just arrived, so I cooked dinner on the boat. The second night...
Where was your "No, I'm not going ashore" photo from? Where it looked clear above you, but then there was a dark, stormy cloud?
That was Provincetown.
Ah, okay. Sorry, I thought that was hilarious.
No, I don't want to go ashore. Yes. Yeah. You could see the thunderclouds on the horizon.
So New Bedford,
New Bedford was kind of drippy, but they do have a historical district. But my knee, for those of you who don't know, I tore the meniscus. I had a knee brace for the boat so that I wouldn't twist it and fall. The orthopedist is most concerned about my twisting and breaking something else because the knee bones are great.
Or just you being in doing something and then being in so much pain it gives out. And it'll support you. The
ACL is fine. What's the other thing in your cartilage is fine, and the bones are fine, just not the meniscus. And what I tore will never come back because I'm over 25. So anyway, what I'm doing is physical therapy. It will be better. And they say 6 months. As long as I do the physical therapy, I should be fine. So that's good. And I just didn't feel like hiking on that knee because the hiking is what tends to aggravate it at the moment. You know, next year, a whole different story. We did see the Eagle, which is the Coast Guard's four-masted schooner. It was in the same harbor, and we heard the flag being piped up in the morning and being piped down in the evening, and that was really nice. The second day, I talked about going on shore to have dinner, but it was raining. Aww. So I said, no, you know, it's one of the things about traveling on a boat is that if it's raining, you're going to get wet. So because you have to get in a launch to get to the shore, and then you have to wait for your Uber or your taxi to take you where you're going, you're just going to get a lot more wet than if you were leaving from the house. Perhaps even with your own car, because you could hopefully drive out from the garage. And again, I didn't want to be totally sopping wet. So that was the second night. Then the next day, we drove the boat down to Newport. We were able to do a little sailing, which was nice. And then up into Bristol, got off the boat and stayed with friends of ours for 3 nights, which we really were looking forward to. And it was good because it was start of the heat wave. And if you don't have a breeze in the harbor, you're dying at night. So they had air conditioning, which was lovely. And we were able to be inside during the thunderstorms because the entire first day we were there, it poured. I mean, it poured, just bucketed down. The second day we were there, Richard and our friend were able to go out sailing, which was nice. And I worked on one of the Toolizzforyou socks, which I have over here, which we'll talk about. I finally gotten it blocked to the point where I can get on and off my foot because with the color work, they said it wasn't going to stretch. They're right. So I haven't finished that pair. If anybody's been looking at the Instagram, I haven't finished that pair, but I should be able to finish it tonight because I've turned the heel on the second one. And now I have a paper pattern so I can really mark out where I've been working and my eye doesn't float down below. I did have an electronic version, Knit Companion, but that yellow line only covers a little bit of the pattern. And my eye on the boat will track above and below. So I'd have to train my eyes to really only follow above the line. Because I already took out the second sock twice. So not happy with myself at all, but that's the way it is. Then after Bristol, we came out and went to, let me think about it. Where did we go? Oh, we went to Stonington and spent the night at Dodson's. Really nice marina. Came in blowing a gale. Sometime in the night, the breeze died. So you woke up in the morning. It was the hottest I'd ever felt it on the boat. It must have been something like 95% humidity because we got to the people on the dock and the sweat was dripping off their nose. We got what we needed at the dock, fuel, etc., and we got out. And as long as we were out on the water, we were fine. So all of those really hot days, we didn't know how hot they were because we were out moving, and in a breeze. From there, we got to Port Jefferson. Port Jeff was dead calm. So my lovely husband said, we're getting a hotel room. And I said, okay.
Because he values his life.
Yes. So we stayed at Danford's for the first time. I mean, I'd eaten at Danford's a number of times, but we stayed at Danford's. We had a lovely room. Quiet. It was across the street. Even though we fronted on that main street right by the harbor, we didn't hear anything. And they had one of those rain shower heads. I loved it. It was great. So aces for shower, aces for comfort of the bed. Thumbs down on their internet. There was no internet. They said they'd been working on it. Well, they need to work on it a little bit more. But, for what we needed, air conditioning, comfortable bed, and the shower was aces. And then the next day we got on home, which was Friday. And we unpacked the boat. We did everything getting the boat ship-shape because Richard wanted to run off to the hospital to see his dad, who's back in the hospital with pneumonia. And we got home, and we were just unpacking the car, and he took stuff in the basement, and the basement has a half an inch of water all over the basement. So we spent 4 hours on Friday night drying the basement. And it is still dripping. It is a hot water pipe that is dripping. But we have it going into a bucket. We turn off the hot water at night.
What she's failing to say is that it dripped straight onto the so I have a dollhouse that my grandfather built me 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Which
you have to understand, my father's not very handy.
Exactly. Which is why this dollhouse means so much to me, because my grandfather put a lot of effort. There's a lot of effort in that dollhouse. A lot of effort.
A lot of love showing in that dollhouse. And
I don't have many physical things.
Every drip that came from that pipe went on that dollhouse.
But not on the main part of the dollhouse, or... So it has a main house and then two side, like, annexes, kind of, that they have doors to go to those annex rooms. So it went on one of the annexes primarily.
On the roof, and the roof is ruined.
And so the roof is ruined.
Even though we had put
roofing tiles on it. Shingles. But, we didn't put down a waterproofing layer under it because it's a dollhouse.
Right.
We might do it when we redo it.
Yes, because...
We might.
It might not be a bad idea.
It might not. You only need a yard of it to do the entire dollhouse.
Exactly. So anyway, the annex may have to
looked up, because Mom called me. I had been at a concert. I went to the Ben Folds and Cake concert. I actually left after Ben Folds because I was not feeling well. And Tanya and I
got food poisoning on Tuesday night. So we come home on Friday and we're faced with this. I'm running around. And then periodically running up to the bathroom because I'm still having effects.
Well, and I just don't feel well. So I go home, and my mother calls me and goes, "Your dollhouse is ruined." And I'm like... So I'm thinking, like, that it's, like, got a hole in the middle of it or something. Like, that it is fully collapsed. It's not. I think it's repairable. And I think we can do that. Like, I think it's
still wet.
Only that part, not the main house.
No, that part's dried out.
The main house, I think, is okay. I think we only have to replace the annex.
Okay.
And I'm okay with that.
Okay.
The reason that, yes, I'm 28, and yes, I do not live at home, but no, I am not giving up hope on this dollhouse because it is the one physical thing I have from my grandfather.
So I dragged it back inside.
We brought it back inside.
In between little bouts.
Because I love you. Yes. And because you love me.
I was so exhausted. My knee is now acting up from Friday night.
I'm sorry.
Yes. But,
Notice how many times I ran up and down the stairs today instead.
It just, it's just not the kind of stuff you should be doing.
The dollhouse might become a new segment on this podcast because we might be doing a bit more work on the dollhouse than we thought we would.
Yes. I think it needs to come all apart because my father, we used to call him Sparky, because he tends to do electrical work without turning off the circuit breakers or the fuses. So I flipped the light switch. And
he's a very well-meaning man.
Yes, he is. One of the times when he was working on the lights in the bathroom, he did something, and my husband was helping him, and all of a sudden sparks went flying, and my husband said, "Didn't you turn off the circuit breakers?" "No, I flipped the switch." Anyway, so that's that.
So... And then everything downstairs, we've moved it out of the way so that, and I have gotten rid of essentially all of my textbooks from college, all of my notebooks from college, because, it's been 6 years. Well, I didn't know if I was going to need it for grad school.
That gave us room then to move the pool table.
Yes, which is ruined. Oh my God,
so it's ruined. We finally figured out what to put the television on upstairs, so the old TV, that piece of furniture is going. I'm sure you all really care about this.
I know. We're just mind dumping if you can't tell. Sorry about that. There's 24 minutes of this. We apologize. We will now get to the knitting portion of this podcast. So what did you finish this week?
I finished this
few weeks?
Bicycle Race.
They're beautiful.
Socks. This is stage number 3. Of the Tour de Sock, and yes, they are beaded. And one of the people in my team, when I said, "I can't do this, I'm going to be on a boat," said, "Put the beads on dental floss." And what I did is I put them on super floss, because the super floss, here it is,
has the fuzzy part.
The super floss does have the fuzzy part, which really is very helpful at keeping it grabs the beads. And then you just stick this into your loop, the stitch, and then slide it on. It was perfect. Now, I had something called a Flegel beater that I've been using before, but actually more beads go flying with the Flegel beater than they do with this. So I will, from now on, I am going to be using Super Floss for all my beadwork. So This is a finished pair of socks. I finished them in 10 days, 1 day late for the thing, but why was that? I can't remember why it was
You had
late.
to restart. You had to restart it because your cuff was too short.
Right. I had misread the pattern, and I had gotten down to about here. And they said, "Oh, by the way, someone on Instagram said your cuff shouldn't be 7 rows; it needs to be 28." I went, "Well, rats!" So I pulled it out, did the 28 rows. In the previous pattern, it said for people who are doing the tour de sock, do this. This pattern didn't say, didn't have special instructions. You had to see them online, and of course, I was on a boat, so I didn't see necessarily when they had put that up. So I'm trying to be really good at reading all the instructions. So I did take it out, I redid it, and it was great. And they fit, and I love them, and they're part of my newt.
I might try them on just to see if they're good size. So
they are great. And then I started stage number 4, and this is the color work that I have been working on, and I find very difficult in my electronic pattern. This is called Arctic Blizzard, I believe.
And I have yarn picked out for this.
And I really like it.
So this is going to be where her pink is, and this is going to be where her black is.
Very nice.
Or gray.
Yes.
But I think this will work.
It doesn't stretch, and they said in the pattern it didn't stretch. So I couldn't get this sock on my foot.
Did you knit a medium?
I did knit a medium.
I'm debating knitting a large.
Size up from usual. And the foot part, this part, fits perfectly. It's only when I then went to the leg and then tried to get that on over my foot that it didn't work. So I have, this morning, I baptized it heavily and then pulled it on over my foot. So, yes, this part is much wider than this, but it does go on over my foot. Now, for the second one, which I am working on, I have just turned the heel.
I think I'm going to knit a large then.
I have, after the heel, I have gone to a size 2 needle, rather than the size 1. Since I've been able to block the first sock so I can get it on, I think I will have no problem with the size 2 needle. And I think that'll work out quite well. So I'm planning on finishing this tonight.
Can I try that foot on? I don't want to stretch out the sock here. I know, I'm pulling the needles. I just want to see if I should make a medium or a large. Oh, I should probably make a large.
I think a large.
I'm going to make a large.
Okay.
We reconfirm this about every time we go shoe shopping together. I have about a half size larger foot than Mom does.
We went shoe shopping today.
We did.
In Manhattan. I haven't been shoe shopping in 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years.
Because we talked about it last year, and we said, well, since we had gone bra shopping last time, and stretchy pants shopping.
Yes.
Not
you
to
didn't
add shoes on.
Shoes.
So this year, my shoes were worn out. I had one pair of shoes I'd had for 2.5 years, one pair of shoes I'd had for a full 3 years. And they are gone. They are shot. Not just soles, which I'd had resoled, but the leather, it's just shot. So, got 4 new pairs of shoes. Threw out all the pairs of shoes I can't wear or are broken or everything else instead of saving them for God knows what.
Yeah.
So we went shoe shopping, and so she does have a slightly larger foot than I do. So that's what I've been
This happens when you're slightly taller than your mother.
So I've been working on the Tour de socks. I am working on stage 4. Stage 5 drops tomorrow, so I'm trying to finish stage 4 tonight so I can do stage 5 tomorrow. I've got, this is not the yarn I'm using, but I will have a variegated green that I will be working on for the next sock. So I already know about that.
The one I'm thinking about for my color work?
And
Is it that one?
No.
Oh.
And no, it's a bugbear, I believe. And then I have proposed my newt, and I have gotten this far on the dress. So I'm hoping, and those of you who looked at Instagram, you saw that I started designing the sock that I'm going to be giving away in the 2 sock classes that Lizz and I will be teaching in the fall. So one will be at Knit on September 30th, which is a Sunday. And the other class is at Rhinebeck on the Sunday of Rhinebeck. I think that's like the 16th or...
19, 20, 21. I think
Something
it's
like
on
that.
the...
We're on this Sunday.
21st.
On the 21st of October.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to be at Rhinebeck and want to do toe-up socks, we're going to be doing... I'm going to be showing 2 different cast-ons. We're going to be doing 2 different heels. And I'm going to be giving away a sock pattern, which will then be posted up on Ravelry for a price rather than for free. So I'm started on that sock while we were out shoe shopping, and I guess I'm about a quarter of the way done. Really happy with the way that is going. So that's what I've been working on. And I can't work on it while we're podcasting because the pattern is too intricate to be doing that color work while I'm talking to you all. I get
And you don't have the other one with you?
It's right up there.
I meant the one you're doing.
No, I left that downstairs.
So, I don't remember if I showed these to you last time, so we're going to show you again. I finished stage 1. And then...
I liked stage 1. They're very comfortable.
They're very
socks.
Cute. I'm
finished
very
those
happy
while
with them.
on the boat. No, I brought them with me.
Oh.
And I wore them at night because sometimes it was cold.
I don't think my swap partner watches this, but I'm going to very quickly show you. I finished the first part of my swap package. I know. Aren't they pretty? They're very pretty.
They're gorgeous.
Aren't they pretty?
My God, I love the pattern. Of course, I'm still waiting for mine.
Hey, I'm working on them.
Really?
Well, I was actually going to ask because I like these better.
Yes, they're very pretty.
Than the lacy.
That's very pretty. That's much better.
Much better?
Much better.
Then I will knit you these because these are fun.
Okay.
But also
they're gorgeous.
That's what I'm doing, and then I'm also knitting a hat
to match
to coordinate.
Yes, very pretty.
I think it's looking okay.
I think it looks great.
I mean, you can't really see it.
I see it. Well, you've only started the pattern for a half an inch.
Okay.
It's fine.
So, I'm very excited about that and we got an extension. Even though I had all of my swap stuff, yes. Okay. We got an extension on the swap, which is good. Because some people really need it. I don't think I'll need it this time, but we'll see. So I finished the socks. I finished those that I showed you. I'm working... Darn it, I said what this is. Oh, when you said these are mitts. So, I finished these mitts. And I finished...
the hat.
Or I'm working on the hat. I have another part that I finished, or all but...
Oh, that's pretty.
The back stitching, isn't he so cute?
It's very cute.
Boop. So I finished that, and I'm really actually very proud of that, because look at how many,
I like it.
Close to white there is on that.
Yes, I like it.
So I have to back stitch that, which means I'm very close to finishing that. So, and then I've also been working on, I'm trying to put this away so that I don't lose things in my mother's craft room.
Which we are going to be reconfiguring because I need to get my fabric up.
An embroidery hoop went loose. I did not get to work on my stitch along as much as I wanted. That is still on the back burner until I get swap done. But I also brought this, and I worked a little bit, a few more teeth.
Oh, good.
On this. Good. Obviously, it's not entered for any of the prizes in Nerd Girl, but I do want to get it done.
Oh, well, I think of it. Inside number 23, if you all did the Wong Along, Michelle Wong pattern, the finished object thread has now been put up, and you have until the end of August, if you did finish your Michelle Wong pattern, to post it on the finished objects thread. And she said that at the end of August, she will then be drawing for a winner from the chatter thread and one from the finished object. So I had finished my Wong Along, so I did go and post mine. Good. I think I'm number 2 in the list.
Look at you.
Look at me. But I had been wondering about that. Anyway, so that's up there. If you all have done it, post it up there.
So, I think that's all I've finished. I felt very accomplished because I actually took the train out to, well, not Cleveland, but out to Pittsburgh 2 weeks ago. And I knit, essentially, a train ride.
Nice.
So that worked out really well. I listened to one of the books in the In-Depth series, essentially both, one way and one another way. I do have to say, taking the train out there, I think I really, like, that was really nice. Getting the train back it was colder for some reason, and it was just, like, I like the timing of getting back at, like, 5 o'clock, which means I get home by, like, 6 with the subway, but you're at the Pittsburgh train station at, like, 7 in the a.m., so that's not so much fun. Oh, well. But it was good, and I'm glad the train exists so that I was able to not have to pay a gazillion dollars to fly.
That's right.
But in other news, we have a bunch of acquisitions to discuss.
Okay, where do you want to start?
Do you want to start? Let's start with the thing that matches.
Okay, so we bought yarn ink. This is from the Tits
Out
Collective. And this was yarn ink.
This is unapologetic.
Version. Right. So if you don't know, the Tits Out Collective there's a group that went to Cancer Blaze, and I think for some kind of yarn exhibition, and wanted her to give in a lot, and because she was going to be getting exposure. And she said, look, if I wanted exposure, I'd get my tits out. And with that, she came up with a colorway. And the colorway is a very vivid color. This is the Asylum yarn version. Right, so I got one of these. And then this is the yarn ink version. So what she did was somebody else had copied the colorway, which is just not good manners.
Like, you can have the same inspiration and the same, like, color story, but essentially it sounds like this other person bought the yarn and then
figured out how to do it.
Just copied it.
Right.
And that's...
No.
We do not have patents on yarn.
Right.
We understand this. But there is a line in the sand of polite and proper,
right.
Like...
So what she's done is she has then, this year, given the colorway out to anybody, to people who would then donate a percentage of their sales to a charity. So this was Asylum Fiber, and this was yarn ink. And I thought I could combine them.
That looks really good.
That looks good. So, and this would be 1,800 yards or so.
It'd be more than that. You've got 16
right.
plus...
This is 18.
That's 16.
This is 18. It's 463.
Oh, so you've got enough
18,
just to do a sweater in that.
And then I've got 382.
So
this is 21.
21.
I could make a tunic out of this.
You could.
And I think that's brilliant.
Or
I also bought, Cancer Blaze was having a sale, and this is Grey Skies in Manchester. This is 75% blue face Leicester and 25% nylon. And this looks nice too.
She's got 4 skeins of the gray.
I'm trying to figure out how much yardage it is.
It's 125 meters, so it's about 125 yards. It's a little bit more than 125 yards.
That's all?
425.
Oh. 425. It may be as much as 450.
Maybe.
So 450 times 4 is actually 1,800 again. So I've got 2,100 yards of this stuff. So I have to decide. Oh, I'd like to hear from you all. Which do you think? This or this for tunic?
I like that first one.
This?
No.
She likes this one.
I like that one.
So please tell me down below which one you prefer.
You could do a silpa.
What the hell is that?
You could do a tunic slippia, whatever. The Caitlin Hunter that has the color work up here and the color work on the sleeves, and it's really, really cute, and it's only 2 colors.
All right.
I'm going to pull it up.
I didn't ask what pattern. I said which grouping.
With the darker one.
Okay, whatever. So we're asking which one you like. Anyway, put that down below. This is mine. Let's make sure that we get
mine I put the labels facing a different way.
Okay.
And so,
yes.
In addition,
there's more.
There is more. So, bad girl, bad wolf. I'm sorry for all of the crinkling sounds. I just can't find her.
Oh, cool.
Bad Wolf Girl Studios did a mini skein in Christmas at Hogwarts.
Cute.
So these are all her Christmas at Hogwarts colors, and it came with a thing of Kool-Aid. There's a little, like, Christmas cracker stitch marker.
Oh, nice.
And it's super cute, and I really liked it, so it came home with me.
Okay.
So I bought this.
From where?
Etsy.
Ah.
Bad Wolf Girl Knits had a thing, a sale. And then we got our random fandom.
That's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's
It's cotton.
Gorgeous.
So.
Oh, wow.
I might or might not. I have another one coming to me. I might or might not have bought off of some of the other nerd girls their skeins to make, because I already picked out the sweater it's going to become. Let me just look it up. It's in the A Stitch in Time Volume 1.
I'm waiting with bated breath.
I know, I can't. Where's the freaking... Here we go.
There are a lot of really good patterns in
Yeah.
Stitch in Time 1, Stitch in Time 2.
Cannot fail to please. 194. No, that's not it. That's another sweater I'm going to make. Let us look in our queue, because sometimes you don't just remember these things. Or I don't. I'm working on it here. I have a very large queue, okay? Oh, Knitter's Delight.
Here it is.
Is it in the first one?
Maybe in the second
I
one.
thought it was in the first one. No, it's right there. Knitter's Delight. I just saw it. There we go. 230. Because I was looking for sweaters that were designed
for cotton.
For cotton. How pretty is that? And it's going to be beautiful.
That's
and I am
great.
very excited. I have
beautiful.
The last skein is should show up in my mailbox on Monday. I don't know when I'm going to cast it on just yet, but I'm very excited.
That's very good.
Especially because it's boyfriend friendly.
Right, because it's cotton.
So that was my slight sad yarn purchase. And then I finally got the sweaters quantity of Good Call Baby Doll on 8-Bit Sport from my friend Tanya that I bought like 2 months ago off of her, or 3 months ago off of her. This is like one of the most beautiful purples ever.
Yes,
and
it's gorgeous.
She cannot really knit with it because the yarn, because she unplies it as she knits.
Well, that's terrible.
I know, but it's such a good thing for me.
It is a good thing for you.
So those were my acquisitions.
And then
we
got some magazines in.
Oh yes. So we got Interweave Knits and the new Rowan. So what we didn't also say is that we also both acquired some yarn from a D-stash from our friend Tanya.
We'll talk about that next time.
At another time, because I didn't bring mine.
There's a lot.
We might just have a whole episode of what Mother got, and then we'll have an episode of what I got.
That might work.
So I have a sweaters quantity of Mohunk from Jill Draper Makes Yarn, something like that. And it's in this beautiful red brown. And I think it would look amazing.
That's amazing. That's an amazing sweater.
In that.
It's so well fitted.
Yeah. So
the ribbing.
The ribbing would kill me. I think so.
Is it fingering?
It is, I think, hold on, let me see. 33. It calls for Yeah, it calls for light fingering. So I think, because mine is sport weight. Sport to, like, light decay.
I've got enough fingering over there.
Yeah, so this calls for, like...
I've got plenty. And I love this.
Yeah. So this so it's, they're calling it collegiate cables. This...
You love cables.
Oh my goodness. Look at that.
It's gorgeous. Just gorgeous.
And look at that men's sweater. Look at it. Look at it.
I love it.
And then this.
I'm
like trying to figure out how I can double the amount of yarn I have to do that in it, because it's just phenomenal.
That's a great tunic. That in tights.
Yeah, I know.
Would be great. And this red, oh my gosh, look at that.
It's just beautiful. It is just beautiful.
And that's the men's version.
The men's version. Then there's this. It's a great magazine.
Look at that.
And then they did a second look at a sweater that they did last year in a different yarn.
I think that's it.
Then they have this. They have a shawl. They have that shawl.
Oh my gosh. That's gorgeous.
That's quite beautiful.
That's really good.
And then they have the second set of cable-y sweaters that are also beautiful. That's not the one I really like. The one I really loved.
Ooh,
this one.
Ooh. That is
but I
so
definitely
pretty.
don't have enough yarn for that.
That is so pretty.
Unless I could think about just doing the body and the cables and then doing stockinette sleeves.
That's a possibility.
Wow. But yeah, so
that's lovely.
I loved this. It's a men's sweater, but look at that cable. Look at that crunchy cable.
Yes.
So, I don't know. Maybe I'll take that cable and put it on something else. Maybe.
Just gorgeous. Gorgeous. I could make almost every sweater.
It's beautiful stuff.
Almost every sweater.
Yeah.
It's just fantastic.
Yeah. So what's in your Rowan book?
My Rowan book took my breath away. This is their 40th anniversary. They're going to be doing all kinds of events all year long. How I wish I was in the UK. The first part of the book is called Ruby because it is their 40th anniversary. So they start off with a dress. I would make it a little shorter, call it a tunic, and be very comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
The next is a coat that I'm not crazy about, but that's just the pattern. The third is a coat that I lost my mind over because of all the cables.
Mm-hmm.
It is just stunning. Then this is interesting because it's got a separate shawl neck separate cowl neck that you can add or not add. And I like it with that cowl. And then there's this, which is like a shrug. And it's just, you see the lace? Oh, lost my mind. And I have got somebody who I think I want to make it for. That's interesting.
Really pretty.
I really like this. And again, I think I might make it a little longer, make it a tunic, so I could wear that and leggings and be fully dressed and be comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
I started wearing leggings on the boat, and some of mine are really very... they will burn your eyeballs because I've got some bright pinks and patterns.
Love it.
And my husband says, well, could you get maybe in black?
No, Dad!
But anyway, I love this as a coat. Can you see that on a winter's day, just being able to put something like that on and snuggling up on the sofa? I just think that looks fabulous. It's in Kid Silk Haze, which, if you've ever tried knitting with it, something that long in kid silkays might make you go crazy, but once it's done, you'd love it. You'd absolutely love it.
That's a pretty colorwork sweater.
This is a cafe facet.
Ah, of course it is.
Are we not surprised? We're not surprised with that kind of colorwork in there.
But it's beautiful. Like, I would be tempted.
I'm almost of the opinion with colorwork, I think I'd rather do it double knitting so that it will stretch. Look at this. That is a stunning dress / tunic, and I'd love to make it my own. This is an interesting pattern because they've got a number of different possibilities. If you look at the big picture, it's got a cable at the hem. Then over here, they have it as being...
I think it's the same sweater. I think it has it on the sleeve, too. Because you don't really see it.
And then here's the sleeve. So I thought you could make it plain on the sleeve or you could add this in.
I mean, either way, you could probably do it.
But it's a nice turtleneck. Kid classic, which I think is like a DK.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think... It's not a fingering. This I love as a cardigan. It's got a little flare to the bottom. And I think if I would make it almost like a Henley so that it didn't come apart. Actually, it did so that it didn't come apart at the bottom, but had the buttons up as a Henley. Or, as a cardigan. It was really pretty. This is a patch coat that is felted. And it's growing on me. Definitely growing on me. And then we've got a number of really lacy scarves. Very pretty. This is almost like a granny square scarf. So for those of you who are starting with crochet, that certainly is something to conjure with. This is a cardigan I'm not entirely thrilled with. I don't like whatever those birds or flowers are, but I could see if I did it in black and white. That would be really pretty. Or I think black and white I would like it. Or a navy blue and white.
Oh, and they've got an Arnie and Carlos
knitwear
article.
Yes. And then we have Alpaca Classics. And I think this shawl is amazing. I think this short bolero sweater is lovely. And then there is this bit of cable and lace deliciousness. Can I get it close enough? There. Cables and lace. Just amazing. If I could bring that neckline up a bit, again, another tunic. Can you catch my theme here?
It's okay. I'm really seriously debating this men's sweater as what I'm going to do with that yarn.
This is a pullover, and again, these are not the color combinations I would choose, but certainly the pattern is delicious.
It's really bad when you keep thinking about a sweater and you have the pattern open and you're like, I could do that.
You could do that.
I mean...
Okay.
Do we think I could pull off a men's sweater?
Look at those sleeves. Just another delicious sweater. So I'd say that this, and I'm stunned by the front cable on that, which trades sides. At first I thought it was zipped, but it's not. It's beautiful. And that's with their Alpaca Classic. Here's this short alpaca sweater again. Lacy and just, again, delicious. So I would say that the Rowan's 40th anniversary
40th anniversary is
pattern book is a keeper. Definitely a keeper.
Yeah.
Yes. So what else do we have?
Actually, I think that is it.
I can't believe that.
I mean, unless you want to get started on your...
No, I'm not going to do that. Anyway.
Oh, no, your sock is right there.
My sock?
Your blue sock is right there.
Well, pick it up. Okay. So...
This is the sock that she's designing.
Yes, so that's the back side. And this is the front side. There's a little pattern there, which will keep growing. So that's what I worked on while we were doing shoe shopping and some other shopping. So it's about a quarter it's about half my foot. I do my foot until I reach my ankle bone, and at my ankle bone, then I decide whether I'm going to do short row heels or whether I'm doing an afterthought heel, and then do the heel, or put in the scrap yarn for the afterthought heel, and then do the leg, and presto, you're pretty much done with a sock. So I am working on that pattern, and we should have this done hopefully by the end of the week, which would be really nice. We'll see how far I get by next Sunday. Okay. Anything else, dear?
I mean, I'm really looking at this men's sweater, trying to think if I could even, if it's even worth me thinking about.
What is your hesitation point?
General positive ease of the sweater.
Well, we can do sweater math.
True, and I mean, the smallest size is a 38, so I can make the 38, and it'll be slightly positive ease, but I think with that yarn, it'll look really good.
It'll be really pretty. Oh, and by the way, while I was...
if I made those peg leg cigarette pants that I keep on wanting to do, that could look...
Could be really pretty.
I might be selling myself on this.
I have been doing both continental and throwing, so both continental knitting and English knitting. And while I was away, I watched a YouTube, or who brought up Sockmatician brought up the fact he had been to Finland to do some knitting classes, and he said the Finns are so fast, and they do.
I just remember we're going to take a class with him at Rhinebeck.
I know.
Strantarsha. I just got very excited.
Well, Rhinebeck's easy to get excited about, and he's even easier to get excited about. Anyway, he mentioned that they do some kind of very strange purl. And he said, and they don't move the yarn from the back. So what they do is they'll come up, grab that... Whoops, no.
I'm trying to give you a solid background.
Okay. They grab that yarn so they're in back of it. They put the stitch in, twist it up, grab it again, bring it around down and through, and it's a purl. I was amazed.
I mean, it is.
I was just amazed. And so as you work on this, obviously, every time I try to show it, I go slower. But I can see where you could be incredibly fast with this if you're not moving this yarn backwards and forward, backwards and forward. I was knocked out. So, things I learned while I was on summer vacation. And apparently there's also a way of locking your colorwork yarn, your behind yarn, doing the Norwegian knitting way. No wonder they're so fast and so good. So I was doing some learning. I was doing a lot of knitting, some relaxation. I had a great time, and I'm glad you all are back. Thank you very much.
And I think we're going to weave in some ends.
We are going to weave in some ends, particularly of this sock.
Yeah, I know. I need to do that on my sock.
That end is going to be woven in about the next 10 minutes.
I know. I need to do that on my other socks over there.
So we're going to weave in our ends. Weave in your ends. Let me know what color combination you think I should do. And we'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye, y'all.